Before we begin this morning prayer, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like this video. God, this morning I wake up with a quiet ache that I can finally name. I want to begin. I want to change something real, something that matters, something that keeps whispering to me in the in-between hours, when the room is dim and my thoughts settle just enough for truth to rise. I want to stop holding my breath. I want to stop standing at the threshold of a door I was made to walk through, but I am caught between longing and hesitation, between the pull of what could be and the gravity of what has been. I feel it in my chest, the flutter of hope, the tremor of fear, and I bring both to you. I don't want to wait for a braver version of myself to show up. I want to start with the heart I have, the courage I have, the faith I have, even if my hands still shake. So I'm here, asking you to meet me where beginnings are born, in the small yes that changes the shape of a day. I don't need certainty, God, I need nearness. I don't need a map with every turn marked in bright ink. I need your voice in the next step. I don't need a guarantee that I won't stumble. I need the promise that if I do, I won't fall alone. Teach me to recognize how you travel with those who move, how you give strength while I'm in motion, how the road becomes clearer when I take one faithful step instead of arguing with every possible outcome. I've spent so much time thinking my way to courage that I forgot courage often grows from doing. So I ask for the grace to do a small thing faithfully, to begin without waiting for perfect conditions, to plant a seed where I've only rehearsed speeches about harvests. If today is only 1 inch forward, let that inch be holy. If today is only opening my hands, let that opening be worship. If today is only admitting I'm scared and I still choose to start, let that admission be my altar. I confess I've called fear by softer names, so I wouldn't have to face it. I've labeled hesitation as wisdom when it was really worry wearing a borrowed coat. I've told myself I'm not ready because ready feels safe and beginning feels exposed. But you are not asking me to perform without flaws. You are inviting me to walk with you as I am, learning, listening, leaning. You are not embarrassed by my trembling. You are not surprised by my questions. You are not measuring me by my speed. You are the God who knits courage into ordinary mornings, who turns fragile yes into faithful ground, who takes the hand that reaches out and steadies it with your own. So here is my hand, God, not steady yet, but offered. Here is my voice, not loud yet, but honest. Here is my step, not long yet, but real. Help me notice the small beginnings I've been overlooking, the way resolve grows after a single phone call I've been avoiding, the way freedom expands after one boundary I keep postponing, the way hope brightens after I show up to the first practice, the first class, the first meeting, the first prayer said out loud. Remind me that momentum is mercy, that tiny faithful moves gather like streams into a river. Remind me that beginnings rarely look like victories. They look like seeds hidden in soil, like early lights slipping under a door, like a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding finally released. Let me bless what is small today without despising it. Let me tend what is fragile without demanding it be strong. Let me steward what is within reach instead of mourning what is not. And when the what-ifs crowd the doorway, give me a sentence that parts them like waves. God is with me in the next step. When doubt lists every prior failure, teach my soul to answer with your faithfulness. How you have seen me through nights I swore would never end. How you have carried me across waters that felt too deep. How you have turned endings into passages and detours into a truer path. I am not starting from emptiness. I am starting from evidence. Your goodness behind me, your presence beside me, your promise before me. Let that testimony be the ground beneath my feet as I lift them. I will not wait for fear to disappear to begin. I will begin while afraid and let trust grow stronger than trembling. I will not wait for a chorus of approval to begin. I will begin with the quiet blessing of your Spirit, who calls me beloved before I do a single impressive thing. I will not wait for the finish line to feel like success. I will honor the courage of the first step, the courage to leave the shore of comfortable sorrow for the open water of honest hope. And if the waves rise against my resolve today, teach me to pray in rhythm with them. Jesus, steady me. Jesus, steady me. If I lose sight of why I started, teach me to return to the altar of the first yes and find you there, still smiling, still saying, let's keep going. There are stories I have told myself about who I am that cannot come with me if I am to move. Stories that say, you always quit, you never finish, you're too late, you're too much, you're not enough. I lay them down now like heavy coats I no longer need. I am not defined by narratives that were written in seasons of survival. I am defined by the one who calls things that are not as though they are, who speaks arise to sleeping courage, who writes beginnings in places everyone assumed were endings. Speak that over me now, God. Write it into the marrow of my being. You are free to start. You are safe to try. You are carried when you cannot carry yourself. You are loved already, always. So here, in the ordinary holiness of this morning, I choose the smallest faithful step I can name. I will make the call. Send the email, open the document, lace the shoes, fill the bottle with water, lay out the tools, set the timer, ask for help, mark the date, schedule the session, begin the saving, read the first page, pray the first psalm, forgive the first wound, speak the first honest sentence. I will not measure today by how far I travel, but by whether I moved with you at all. And if all I can do is stand at the threshold and lift my foot, I will call that worship and bring my lifted foot to you. God, make this resolve gentle, not brittle. Let it bend without breaking when reality pushes back. Let it rest without guilt when my body asks for pause. Let it listen without shame when wiser voices offer care. Let it keep company with humility and hope. I do not want a courage that crushes me under its expectations. I want the courage that is born of love, your love, which never asks me to become a machine, only a child who trusts her father enough to take his hand and walk. Teach me to find you in the detail of the step, in the breath before I begin, in the stillness between tasks, in the quiet pleasure of doing something I once only imagined. Teach me to end this day not with scorn at what I didn't do, but with gratitude for what I dared to start. If I stumble, remind me the ground is made of mercy. If I freeze, remind me that pausing is not the same as surrender. If I want to run back, remind me that Egypt was familiar, but it wasn't freedom. And if I cannot remember any of that, send someone who carries your voice to say it to me, soft and steady. One step is enough for today. Let community be the railing I hold as I descend into newness. Let their faith lend warmth to mine when the wind rises. Make me humble enough to be helped and brave enough to ask for it. I do not know how this will unfold, God. I do not know how long it will take or how many times I'll have to begin again. But I know this. Beginnings are not a sign of failure. They are a sign of life, and I choose to walk with the one who stepped into our world, who took the first step toward us long before we could move toward you, who still walks roads with the tired and sits at wells with the ashamed and calls the hesitant by a new name, mine. Call me that as I start, call me that when I finish and lay the work at your feet. Today, I take the first step, not because I am fearless, but because you are faithful. Not because I see the whole path, but because I have seen your heart. Not because I am strong, but because I am held. And if I need to take the first step again, at noon, and again, at dusk, and again, tomorrow morning, I will, with you, always with you. God, I took the step, and now everything inside me feels exposed. My fears are louder than ever, as if they were waiting just beyond the starting line. I can feel their voices in my body, the tightening in my chest, the racing thoughts, the sudden urge to undo what I dared to begin. I expected freedom to meet me on the other side of movement. Instead, I feel fragile. I feel unsure. I feel like maybe I made a mistake, and I bring that to you. Because you're not just the God of beginnings. You are the God who walks with us through the middle, when momentum hasn't come yet and motivation starts to fade, when the first step is behind me, but the path ahead is still blurry. So I'm asking again, God, help me. Help me not read discomfort as a warning sign. Help me remember that every unfamiliar place feels risky at first, that even peace can feel strange when I'm used to pressure, that sometimes the fear that shows up after I move isn't a signal to stop, it's just a remnant of the life I'm leaving behind. Help me sit with fear without making it the narrator. Help me hear its concerns, but not let it dictate my direction. Help me say, yes, I hear you, and then still move forward. Because my life cannot be shaped by the loudest internal voice, but by the truest one, and that voice is you. You don't shame me for feeling anxious after obedience. You don't roll your eyes when I second-guess myself. You don't ask me to pretend it's easy. You meet me here in the quiet panic that tries to settle in my bones, and you remind me, I don't have to do this alone. I don't have to carry the weight of this choice in my own strength. I don't have to manufacture courage. I just have to keep choosing it, one breath at a time. And when I can't feel brave, I can still feel held. Because that's what you do. You hold the ones who tried and fell. You hold the ones who move slowly. You hold the ones who show up scared. You hold the ones who almost backed out, but didn't. So hold me again this morning, God. Wrap around my racing mind. Steady my heart that wants to jump ahead into every possibility. Anchor me in this moment, in this breath, in this truth. You are still with me. You are still for me. You are still enough. I want to learn how to keep going even when I don't feel like I'm doing it right. I want to stay with the process instead of quitting in the tension. I want to give my becoming the patience it deserves, because not every breakthrough feels like a victory. Some feel like sitting in a room where the old version of me would have already walked out. Some feel like staying in the conversation longer than I used to, like not apologizing for existing, like continuing the project even when I feel unqualified, like letting the tears come and not calling them weakness, like choosing not to numb the fear, but breathing through it with you. And when shame tries to twist progress into failure, when it says, you should be further by now, you're embarrassing, everyone sees you struggling, remind me that shame is not the voice of love. Shame cannot predict my future. Shame does not know my story. Only you do. And you are not ashamed of me. You are proud of me. You call this effort holy. You call this inch forward a victory. You say, blessed are the ones who keep showing up. So, today I won't wait to feel bold before I act. I will act from trust, not emotion. I will name the doubt without bowing to it. I will feel the fear without handing it the keys. I will listen to love and move with it. And if I falter, if I sit down again for a while, I will not make it a failure story. I will call it what it is, a pause. And then, with your help, I'll begin again and again and again, until beginning is no longer a novelty, but a lifestyle, a rhythm of grace, a way of being human that says, I'm not perfect, but I'm still willing. God, thank you for not being disappointed by how much I still need reassurance. Thank you for being a father who walks with me, not just watches me. Thank you for holding the weight of what I cannot name. Thank you for reminding me that fear is not a sign I'm broken. It's a sign I'm leaving what's familiar, and that means I'm growing. That means I'm healing. That means I'm becoming. So help me keep becoming, even when the path gets muddy, even when the critics get louder, inside or out, even when the joy feels slow to show up. Help me keep walking. Help me keep whispering, yes. Help me not despise small steps. Help me not compare my beginning to someone else's middle. Help me not abandon myself in the place I've already prayed to reach. And help me, please, to keep asking for help, because that too is holy. That too is a step. That too is movement. I don't want to live stuck between longing and fear. I want to move. And if that movement feels ungraceful today, let it be enough. If I only move an inch, let it be enough. If all I can do is breathe and say, I won't quit here, let it be enough. You are not asking me to be heroic. You are asking me to be honest. And I am. I'm here. I'm shaking. But I'm still stepping. So, walk with me again today, God. You led me out of stillness. Now, lead me through it. God, I took the step. I moved. I trusted. I said yes when it would have been easier to stay still. And now, everything around me looks the same. Nothing shifted. Nothing celebrated. The sky didn't break open. No finish line appeared. The people I hoped would notice, the weight I expected to lift, stayed, and still. Something in me knows I'm not where I was. Something deep and quiet and sacred has begun to shift, and I bring that hidden shift to you now, because you're the only one who sees it clearly. I'm learning that sometimes transformation doesn't look like a grand unveiling. Sometimes it looks like choosing not to go back. Like waking up and showing up again, even when the reward is invisible. Like deciding, for the 100th time, not to listen to the voice that says, this doesn't matter. Like holding on to faith without evidence, hope without confirmation, courage without applause. And so today, I ask you, help me keep going, even when nothing looks different yet. Help me hold my direction when results are still out of reach. Help me believe in the unseen work you're doing, both around me and within me, because that's where I live right now, in the in-between. I'm no longer in the place I used to be, but not yet in the place I'm hoping for. And in that space, it's easy to start wondering if the step was worth it. If maybe I misheard you. If maybe I was foolish to believe change was possible. But I know better. Not because the feelings always line up with faith, but because I've seen you work in silence before. I've seen you plant seeds in the dark and bring them to life in due season. I've seen you honor small obediences that nobody clapped for. So today, I choose to believe that the same God who met me in the moment of decision is also here in the long quiet after. Help me resist the need for immediate evidence. Help me remember that roots grow before branches reach, that healing starts beneath the surface, that the invisible is not the same as the insignificant. Help me measure progress by peace, not productivity, by clarity of spirit, not external reward. Let me name the inner changes that aren't flashy, but are deeply holy. The way I pause now before self-criticism, the way I let myself rest without apology, the way I speak with more honesty, more gentleness, the way I'm learning to stay instead of disappear. Let me bless those changes, even if no one else sees them. Let me celebrate the shift that starts with mindset, with posture, with tone. Let me keep choosing what's different, even when the familiar still calls, even when fear still tries to seduce me with the comfort of what I already know. Let me remember that just because it feels ordinary doesn't mean it's not sacred. That just because I don't feel different yet doesn't mean you're not changing me. That just because the world isn't clapping doesn't mean heaven isn't watching. God, guard my heart from discouragement. From the lie that says, if you can't see it, it's not happening. From the impatience that says, you should be further by now. From the hopelessness that says, this won't last. Silence those voices and replace them with yours. The voice that says, keep going, I'm still with you. Nothing is wasted. You are becoming. Let that be the ground I walk on today, even if it's only one quiet step at a time. Let this season of smallness be holy. Let this quiet path feel full of meaning. Let this hidden obedience form something eternal in me. I know you don't need me to be fast, only faithful. I know you don't judge my journey by visible milestones, only by love. And I want to keep walking in that love, even here, even now, even when the sky doesn't change, even when no one notices, even when the progress is only felt in my breathing, in the way I carry myself, in the way I look in the mirror and don't flinch anymore. Help me be patient with what is still growing, with what I cannot explain yet, with the kind of change that builds slowly, deliberately, unglamorously. Help me see the value in quiet consistency, in sacred repetition, in daily, humble yes, when no one's watching. Because you're watching, you always have been. And if I only move 1 inch today, let it be in step with you. So, if I rise again to the same routine, help me enter it differently. If the circumstances haven't changed, help me show up changed within them. If the waiting feels long, help me remember that waiting with you is never passive. It's preparation, it's formation, it's deeper than I know. And if nothing visible shifts by tonight, let me rest in the truth that beginnings don't have to be dramatic to be divine. You see me, God. You see every small act of obedience, every time I resist the urge to quit, every moment I choose peace over panic, every tiny rebellion against fear, every slow return to trust. And you call it all good. So today I will keep walking, even if nothing looks different yet, because something is different. Me. I've begun. And that is holy. God, something is different today. And I don't mean the world outside. The schedule is still full, the responsibilities unchanged, the headlines still heavy. But I feel different, not louder, not stronger, in a way anyone else would notice, but steadier, a little more anchored, a little more present in my own body, a little less reactive, a little more at peace. I didn't expect it to feel like this. I thought change would feel louder, like fanfare, like adrenaline, like fireworks after long effort. But it feels quiet, solid, almost shy, like something inside me finally unclenched and is learning how to breathe again. It didn't happen all at once. It wasn't one prayer or one journal entry or one decision. It was the slow rhythm of beginning again and again, the repeated yes when my emotions said no, the choosing to keep showing up when nothing shifted yet, but something did shift, not in the world, in me. I noticed it when I heard the old voice of self-doubt rise up, and for the first time I didn't agree. I noticed it when fear tried to speak and I didn't run. I noticed it when I moved through the day without narrating failure before anything happened. That's not just behavior change. That's healing. That's grace, taking root in the places where shame used to grow. And now that it's here, this fragile new way of being, I want to honor it. I want to protect it. I want to water it. I want to call it what it is. Holy progress. The kind you've been cultivating in silence. The kind that begins invisible and grows unglamorous, but changes everything. I'm not trying to be someone else anymore. I'm not hustling for transformation. I'm learning how to live from the inside out. And you're showing me how to trust that the seed you planted in me is doing exactly what it was made to do. Help me keep becoming, not with pressure, but with partnership. Not with fear, but with flow. Help me pay attention to the tiny confirmations you're sending. The conversation that felt easier because I stayed grounded, the emotion I let rise without shame, the place I would have hidden but chose to stay visible. These aren't small things, God. These are miracles, because I know who I used to be. I know the moments I used to collapse under, and today I'm standing in them with peace. That's not small. That's sacred. Teach me not to minimize what you call good. Teach me to bless the steps I used to overlook. Teach me to celebrate not the outcome, but the obedience. Because something in me is starting to believe that you care less about where I'm going and more about how I walk. And today, for the first time in a long time, I'm walking in alignment with who you said I was, long before I believed it, capable, whole, loved, led. God, thank you for not rushing my process. Thank you for not being disappointed in how long it took me to move. Thank you for waiting in love while I wrestled. Thank you for whispering hope when I forgot I had a future. Thank you for celebrating small starts. Thank you for calling me forward without shaming my pace. You've taught me something priceless, that real change isn't dramatic. It's consistent. It's invisible. It's slow. And when it's real, it stays. Let what you've started in me stay. Let it grow roots so deep that no wind can shake it. Let it become the new baseline, not the exception, but the new way I live. Let fear feel like a foreign tongue, no longer fluent in my soul. Let peace be the new language I think in. Let stillness be my safety, not my punishment. Let love be where I start, not what I try to earn. Let this new rhythm carry me into places I never thought I could stand in. And let me stand, not with arrogance, but with quiet gratitude that says, look what the Lord has done in me. Because you have, you've done something, and I see it now. I feel it. I'm living it, and I won't pretend otherwise. I won't downplay it to make others comfortable. I won't hide it in false humility. I'll live it gently, steadily, faithfully. Because this is what I prayed for, and now it's real. God, I don't wake up today needing to convince myself to move. I'm already moving, not rushing, not running, but flowing, in step with something deeper than pressure, something stronger than fear, something steadier than my old rhythms of striving and stalling. I've tasted what it feels like to begin, not in a rush of inspiration, but in quiet alignment with your presence. I've learned that I don't have to wait to be unafraid to take the next step. I just have to trust that you are walking with me, and there's peace here now, not because everything is easy, not because the road ahead is perfectly lit, but because I'm no longer resisting the direction you've been whispering for so long. I'm no longer analyzing every risk into paralysis. I'm no longer standing at the threshold waiting for permission to live. I'm walking, sometimes slowly, sometimes awkwardly, but I'm walking, and it's enough. This is what healing looks like. Not arrival, but movement. Not achievement, but responsiveness. Not performing my way into love, but responding to love that's already mine. You've taught me that courage is not an event, it's a rhythm, a posture, a daily practice of showing up with what I have and trusting that it's enough. And now, I don't just believe it, I live it. I carry it in how I speak to myself, in how I pause instead of panic, in how I hold compassion for who I used to be, in how I listen to your voice over all others. I'm not perfect at it, but I don't need to be. That was never the goal. The goal was never to become someone flawless. The goal was to become someone faithful, someone honest, someone who keeps showing up with open hands and a soft heart, someone who doesn't let the fear of the unknown outweigh the joy of becoming. And that's who I am now. That's who you've made me through every trembling, yes, every quiet start, every invisible act of trust, Thank you, God, for forming me slowly, for never giving up when I delayed, for loving me before I moved, and still loving me now that I am. I don't know where this road leads, but I don't need to. I've learned to measure my steps by peace, not by applause. I've learned that obedience doesn't always produce immediate fruit, that it always leads to life. I've learned that presence is more valuable than perfection. And today, I walk in presence, in awareness, in gratitude, because I see it now. You've been with me in every single step, even the ones I thought I took alone, especially those. Let my life now speak without striving. Let my presence now carry quiet strength. Let my words now echo from a place of lived courage, not borrowed hype. Let the way I move reflect the way I believe. Rooted, rested, ready, not to perform, but to become, not to impress, but to be fully here, fully alive, fully loved, and living like it's true. And if one day I forget, if the voices return and the fear grows loud again, I know what to do. I come back to the first step, not with shame, but with sacred memory. I return to the place where I met you in my hesitation, and you met me with gentleness. I return to the posture of open hands, of slow breath, of whispering, yes, again, and you'll still be there, as you always are. So, let this final amen not be an end. Let it be a continuation, a commitment to keep stepping, to keep trusting, to keep saying yes, not just once, but as a way of life.